My name is Berlin. I'm 29. I have a decent job, a salary that pays the bills, and a LinkedIn profile that looks fine from the outside. And every single morning, I wake up with this quiet, gnawing feeling that I am supposed to be doing something more, something bigger, something that actually means something to me. But here's the thing, I never start it. I think about it. I plan it. I tell myself today is the day. And then I open my laptop, answer some emails, sit through a meeting that could have been a Slack message, eat lunch alone at my desk. And before I even realize it, it's 6 p.m. Another day gone. Another day where the thing I actually want to do is still just a thought in my head and not a single word on a page, not a single step taken. Sound familiar? Because if it does, this is for you. Let me walk you through a Tuesday, a completely average, forgettable Tuesday in my life. The alarm goes off at 7:15. I hit snooze twice. Not because I'm tired, not really. I'm just not excited. I shower, make coffee, and somewhere between pouring the creamer and grabbing my bag, I think, maybe tonight I'll finally work on that side project. Maybe tonight is different. I feel it. That little flicker of motivation. And for a few minutes on the train, I'm genuinely alive with possibility. I'm sketching ideas in my head. I'm imagining the version of me that already did the thing. It feels real. Then I walk into the office and the fluorescent lights hit me, and my manager is already pinging me about a deck that needs updating, and someone scheduled a 9 a.m. all hands nobody asked for. And just like that, the flicker goes out. I spend the next 9 hours doing things that matter to someone else's dream, not mine. I am competent at this job. I know how to survive it. But surviving and living are not the same thing, and somewhere inside me, I have always known that. By the time I get home, I'm drained. Not physically, I sat in a chair all day, but mentally, emotionally, I got nothing left, so I tell myself, I deserve a break. I watch something on Netflix. I scroll. I fall asleep. And when my eyes open the next morning, there it is again, that quiet, gnawing feeling. Still there, still waiting. Now here's what nobody told me for the longest time. The reason I can't start has almost nothing to do with time, and almost nothing to do with energy. It has everything to do with what's happening inside my brain. See, my mind has been conditioned, literally trained, to seek safety. Every time I sit down to start something new, something that matters to me, something that carries risk, my brain reads that situation as a threat, not a real threat. Not a bear chasing me through the woods, but a psychological threat. The threat of failure, the threat of embarrassment, the threat of trying hard and still not being good enough. And your brain, my brain, it does not distinguish between those threats. It responds the same way. It pumps the brakes. It creates friction. It whispers, "Not yet, not today, you're not ready." And here's the sneaky part. The brain doesn't just stop you, it gives you logical sounding reasons to stop yourself. You tell yourself you need to do more research. First, you tell yourself the timing isn't right. You tell yourself you need a better plan, a cleaner workspace, a quieter week. You're not procrastinating, you're preparing. Except you're not. You're protecting yourself from the discomfort of uncertainty, and your brain rewards you for it. Every time you avoid the scary thing and scroll instead, you get a little hit of relief. That relief feels good. Your brain logs it. And the next time the scary thing comes up, The avoidance gets a little faster, a little easier, a little more automatic. That's the loop. That's how months become years. But there is another layer to this that cuts even deeper. And this one took me a long time to sit with. Part of me doesn't start because part of me is terrified that if I try and fail, I lose the one thing that's been keeping me going, the idea that I could. Right now, in this unstarted state, I am still potentially great. The dream is still intact. The moment I take a real swing at it, I risk finding out I'm not as talented, not as driven, not as special as I believed. So, staying stuck becomes a way of protecting my self-image. It's painful, but it's a familiar kind of pain. Starting is a whole different kind of terrifying. And that right there is the hard truth. Most people who are stuck are not lazy. They are scared. And they are smart enough to dress that fear up in productivity-looking clothes. The person who spends 3 weeks building the perfect system to organize their goals without actually working on any of them. That's fear wearing a planner. The person who rewrites their to-do list every Sunday but never crosses anything major off it. That's fear wearing a journal. I know, because I've been that person. I am still fighting to not be that person. So, what happens if nothing changes? Let me paint you a real picture, because I think we both need to see it clearly. If I stay on this path, wake up, commute, survive the office, come home empty, sleep, repeat in 5 years, I'm going to be 34 with a slightly better job title, but the exact same restlessness. The idea will still be there, older now, heavier, because now it's not just a dream I haven't started, it's a dream I chose not to start, and that weight compounds. It shows up as a low-grade bitterness I can't quite explain. It shows up in the way I talk about other people's success. It chips away at my confidence, quietly, steadily, until I stop believing the dream was ever real in the first place. The cost of staying the same isn't dramatic. It doesn't happen all at once. It's slow, and it's quiet, and it's devastating in the most ordinary way possible. Here's the shift I had to make. I stopped thinking of starting as a big moment and started thinking of it as a small one. Because the version of starting I had in my head was cinematic, sit down, feel inspired, produce something brilliant, feel transformed. That version almost never happened. The real version looks like this: sit down, feel nothing, write one bad sentence, close the laptop, do it again tomorrow. That's it. That's the whole secret. Momentum isn't something you feel before you start. It's something you build by starting before you feel it. The strategy that actually worked for me wasn't about discipline or motivation, it was about lowering the cost of beginning. I gave myself a rule: 2 minutes. I will sit with the thing for 2 minutes. No pressure to produce anything good, no pressure to stay longer. Just 2 minutes of contact with the work. And what I found almost every single time is that 2 minutes became 10, and 10 became 40. Because the hardest part was never the work itself. The hardest part was the moment right before the work, that gap between intention and action where the fear lives. Shrink that gap. Trick your brain into starting before it has time to talk you out of it. I also had to stop waiting to feel ready and start building the identity of someone who does the thing. Not someone who wants to do it, not someone who plans to do it. Someone who does it imperfectly, consistently, without waiting for perfect conditions. because identity drives behavior far more powerfully than motivation ever will. When I started saying to myself, I am someone who works on my craft. Every day, even when it's messy, something shifted. The resistance didn't disappear, but it stopped feeling like a stop sign and started feeling like a speed bump. And here's what happens when you keep going anyway. The first week is hard. The second week is a little less hard. By the third week, something changes. You start to trust yourself. Not because you've produced anything perfect, but because you showed up when you didn't feel like it. And that proof compounds. Every day, you do the thing. You are casting a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. And slowly, quietly, the person you are becoming starts to look a lot like the person you always believed you could be. I'm still 29. I'm still in that office on most mornings. I still have days where the laptop stays closed and the Netflix plays too long. But the difference now is that I no longer confuse those days with my destiny. I know what I'm capable of, not because someone told me, because I showed myself. One bad first draft at a time. 1 2-minute sit down at a time. One small, unglamorous, deeply intentional act at a time. So here's what I want to leave you with. The version of you who already did the thing they didn't start because the timing was perfect. They started because they got tired of waiting for perfect. They started scared. They started messy. They started with no guarantee it would work out. But they started. And that decision, that one quiet act of beginning, changed everything that came. After you have been ambitious your whole life, you have the dream, you have the ability. The only thing standing between you and the version of yourself you've been imagining is the next 2 minutes. Not the next year, not the next Monday. Right now. Close this video, open the thing, write the first bad line. Take the first awkward step. And remember, this done is not the opposite of perfect. Done is the proof that you refuse to stay stuck. The world doesn't need your perfect version. It needs your started one.